Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Treble. My name is Caesar. I am your host, and I am so excited to share with you that this episode is my 13th episode, and half this episode will be dedicated to talking about Taylor Swift because 13 is her lucky number, so why not? So I thought I'd tie in those two. Also, if you didn't watch my first episode of this podcast or listen to it, you will know that one of her songs is actually an inspiration to why I named this podcast Treble. So definitely go check that one out if you want to listen to more of the background story. But yes, here this week, there's not a lot new music being released that I actually personally liked. There's been great hits here and there, but just some that I feel like I don't really want to talk about, to be honest. We're only going to be talking about, a few releases, very few releases, which you'll see in the later in the episode, and one new album that I actually do want to talk about because there's been a lot happening surrounding that album and this artist. All right, guys. So the first song and only song or single that I want to talk about that I feel it's worth mentioning and talking about is Danna Paola's Calor. Now, this song has literally saved my summer because I feel like there is no summer song, and I am so tired of that. Like, I really want like a summer feel good song, and we haven't gotten that. And this song is truly great. I truly feel like she is coming more into her own, and she's one of the very few artists that can definitely shift her style, her era, her color, her vibe, because with her previous album Child Star, it was a very dark pop album, and even the way she would dress, her videos, her visuals, like the sound of the music was very dark pop, and it kind of gave me like a Lady Gaga type of vibe. But I was so used to her doing more of the pop Latina or pop Latin sound that I was very shocked for her to go into this direction, going from that dark pop to this summer electro vibe, fun, flirty song. It's just was kind of weird, but I should really vibe with it. The only drawback I have with this song it's that it's too short. It's literally 2 minutes and 10 seconds. I wish it was longer just because it was such a great song and I feel like I needed more. So I don't know if that was intentional where she made it super short to the point where you're like, oh, I want more from her. But it's a great song, guys. It's fun. It's vibrant. He's just talking about her and her man and how he's pleasing her in all the right ways. Like I said, it's not supposed to be like this in-depth type of song. It's just for fun. It's for the summer. It has that summer vibe. If you go watch the video, it's the same way. It's very upbeat. It's very experimental because it doesn't just stick to one sound throughout the song. There's like so many multiple different shifts and then directions, and then the instruments just go up and down. So you're just kind of like in this wild roller coaster, I would say. It's just great. Like, it's a great song. You would not want to miss out on it. So go check it out if you have not. It's just one of those songs that I feel like you need to listen to if you want to feel more in that summer vibe. So yeah, definitely go check her out. Like I said, that's the only song I feel like it's worth talking about in this video, just because what's going on in the music industry that we are not getting those summer vibe songs during this time. So yeah, so definitely go check that one out. It's amazing. You will not regret it. Now, my friend, shifting into albums, I feel like the only album worth talking about would be Alex Warren's You'll Be Alright, Kid. And the reason I say that, it's because he's had one of the most successful hits of 2025, and he's kind of dominating the charts during the summertime, which is something that surprises me, just because that song doesn't feel like summer. It just doesn't feel like summer. Now, I like Alex Warren. I actually got into him. Well, I shouldn't say got into him, right? For the first song I listened to from him was called Chasing Shadows back in 2022. And it was actually a great song. Now, after that, I honestly didn't keep up with him. I kind of knew he was still in the game. I would hear his name or see his name in playlists, on Spotify, on Apple Music. So it was just one of those artists that you kind of knew a little bit about, but didn't really follow him. Kind of like Benson Boone. I'm gonna be honest. Boone, when he released Ghost Town, I loved that song. It's still one of my favorite Benson Boone tracks. And so he released that song. Then I heard his next song or his next single, and I just kind of like didn't really vibe with it. I was just like, oh, whatever. It's like a one-off type of artist, right? And and surprisingly, they both have had massive hits. But back to Alex Warren. I feel like this album is truly, truly great. You know, he talks about self-empowerment. He talks about resiliency. He talks about just traumas that he has gone through his life, and how he's just trying to persist and keep going and just continue with life. And so I love this whole concept of this album where like he's talking to his younger self. He's giving, you know, the audience advice on how to be resilient, how to improve yourself, how to become more like just like a better person, but also just have that empowerment within yourself to keep going no matter what obstacles are thrown into you. So I really love the whole theme of the album. I think it was really great. There's been some negative controversy just because there's this video he played during one of his, I don't know if it was a festival or a concert for him or anything like that, to be honest, but he actually put like negative criticism of his song Ordinary, or just of him in general, from other music journalists or music creators. And so it was just weird to put that, because I never saw him as like a victim. So he's coming into this weird like victim mode whenever that video clip was played before his set. And so I just didn't understand that part, just because the people and I'm gonna say this, music is subjective, right? So not everyone's gonna like your music. Not everyone's gonna say great things about them. Not everyone's gonna say even if you're a creator, if you're in the music space, you're in the social media space, it doesn't matter. You're always gonna have people talking shit about you, and that's just a fact. Are we human? Does it bother us sometimes? Yes, but don't let that be kind of, I think, the narrative, because he's not the victim. I would say I didn't even know where this came from, where he's playing the victim, that he's a one-hit wonder and that he's an industry plant, because I don't see him as an industry plant. Like, he's been working his ass off for like 4 years. I think his first single was released back in 2021, so it's been 4 years of him working his ass off to get where he's at. So I don't understand that. So it kind of reminded me of like Sabrina Carpenter. You know, she got a lot of hate because, oh, she's an industry plant, and I'm like, she's been working her ass off since she was like 14. So that's been like 10 plus years of her working. So it's that type of mentality that he kind of displayed during that concert set, and I don't know why. But regardless of that, I believe this album's great. Is it more traditional, more conservative, more in that pop, folk, alternative vibe? It's just what it is, and that's his sound, and that's what he loves to do and write. He's not a pop guy. So yeah, I just loved this album. And you can tell he wrote a lot of personal things in this album. If you really pay attention to the lyrics, you will see he tells you details of what he was going through. He tells you details of what he went through, and he's telling you things of, I feel like, very intimate. It just shows you like what kind of artist he can be, and he can truly have a successful career. You know, I am so excited for you to listen to this album. I would say right off the bat, the opening track, Eternity, it's a beautiful song. I feel like it's just one of those songs that really does capture, like, it gets you hooked. It gets you hooked to the album. You would want to listen more. You would want to continue and listen to his journey, you know, with this whole album. I love this song. I feel like it starts very calm, very melodic, and then it just picks up to his sound, right? His original, I would say, sound that he's been doing. And it's just so great. I love this song. It's such a beautiful kind of, I don't want to say oath, but it's more of a grieving song to his parents. This song just gives us that perspective of like what happened to his parents, and also like how he wants to be with them, although he can't be with them right now because of he's still here and his parents have passed. So it's just one of those songs where he's expressing feelings of loss and longing, and sometimes even loneliness. I feel like it was pushed as kind of the next single, so hopefully it is. I love the theme of it. I love everything about it. I think it's just one of those beautiful songs that you will really enjoy. It's a little heavy, but if either you can relate to it or you're in a headspace where you're like empathetic, it's a great song for you to listen to. Now, the next song I'm going to talk about, it's Burning Down. Before I get into this song, I didn't know he had a remix version with Joe Jonas, because the album's version is just him, which I don't mind, but I feel like it would have been cool to have a Joe Jonas in your album. I don't know. I mean, for you to kind of not be as big as you were, because this song was actually released back in 2024, although it's part of his album. It was just like, why would you want Joe Jonas in your album? Like, that is so cool. But hey, to each their own. I think it's more, this album's a little bit more personal. So, who knows why he didn't add him. But I love this song. It blends like upbeat, melodic type of sound with thought-provoking lyrics. Like, they truly do express. They're very visual. This song's about leaving a toxic relationship and no longer being in that environment, breaking yourself free, and basically saying like he's watching that house burn down. So what I think about that, I don't think of a visual house. I think it's like a relationship, right? And so I feel like he was trying to create this great life with someone, and that person basically, they burned the house down because it was just not working out, and it was very toxic within the relationship. So it was just one of those great songs. I could not get enough of it. I think I go back to this one a little bit more than Eternity. And just a quick side note, it's pretty cool that this song was actually his first Hot 100 entry for him. So it wasn't Ordinary, even though Ordinary is everywhere and it's a huge success. But I feel like this song, it's really cool. I love just the writing. I love the writing. And I just love how visual he's getting with his lyrics. And I think it's very hard for someone, especially on their debut album, to do that. But yeah, definitely go check out Burning Down. And next, my favorite song I truly love from this album. It's like my favorite, Bloodline featuring Jelly Roll. Now this song, it is so good. I feel like their voices blended so well. They're in the same type of sound, like that same space, right? It's a little bit country pop mixed in with like, I want to say rock, but like alternative, right? It's just the signature sound that Alex has. And it's just one of those collabs that worked well because I feel like they kind of sound similar. And so it's just one of those tracks that I'm like, wow, this is a great collaboration. I don't know why it wasn't pushed more. And I get it. Ordinary, I think kind of took off because it's more viral. But this song's so cool. I love the fact that in this song, he talks about all his past traumas and how that doesn't define who you are and that you can keep pushing forward. And we don't have to be the narrative that they gave us. We don't have to be the person that does the same thing as, his parents or his grandparents. Like we've seen a lot of that generational shifts that people have gone through where you're like, I don't have to stay in the same way that you guys were. I can do something different. I can do something better. I think it was just a beautiful, beautiful song for him to write, because I honestly don't think I've ever heard a song about this, about breaking generational traumas that one goes through, and then you're still trying to be resilient. You're still trying to go on a different path and be better for yourself and elevate yourself and just have that love for yourself to keep going and pursuing and be just different. Jelly Roll killed it. I love his verses. I love the way they sound together. It was just like perfect collab. I think it's my favorite collab off this album for sure. And so definitely go check out Bloodline. Go check out the whole album. Like I said, the whole album just expresses so many different things. It expresses hardships, past traumas, but then the resilience, the personal growth, self-compassion that you have to have in order for you to keep moving along with life and just have the best life that you can. So like I said, this project's awesome. I hope Alex does great things with his career. So next we are talking about Miss Taylor Swift. So I thought I've dedicated this episode to Taylor Swift because it's my 13th episode of Treble and her favorite number is 13. And also Treble, the way you spell it, it's Treble, period. Just like her song is I Knew You Were Trouble, period. So I took a little bit of inspiration from her in order for me to create this podcast. So why not dedicate my 13th episode to her? And so I think it's awesome that she has so much influence in the music industry. I love that she's a great writer. She has had great hits. I feel like maybe her last era wasn't her best era, but I mean, she's still selling out tours. She's still selling so many, she's still very successful with records and streaming and all of that great stuff, and even bringing back old music and them being current singles and current hits that go viral. It's just crazy to me that she has done that. She has done so much. I truly, truly do like her. I wasn't always a Taylor Swift fan, but when I did become a Taylor Swift fan, I'm like, oh, she's cool. I understand why people like her, right? She has great lyrics. She keeps you guessing. She keeps you on your toes when it comes to like lyrics and when people really dissect her songs and all of that great stuff. Yeah, first I want to talk about a few songs that I love. I think these songs are great. I always go back to them for some reason. If I'm in a mood, if I need some pick me up, if I'm in more of a calm state of mind, or if I'm in a mood of remembrance, I listen to these songs and they're just great. And so I just truly, truly do enjoy these songs. So first, let's start off with New Romantics from 1989. Now, this song's so cool. When I first heard this song, and it was a deluxe track, I'm like, why is this not on the actual track listing? And I get it. It's different. It's not her typical, it wasn't her typical 1989 sound, honestly. But it's still one of her strongest, pop songs. I love the fact that it's very free, very embracing independence. She's embracing that she's going through like a heartbreak and she's trying to find empowerment within that headspace or within that situation in her life. And I love the fact that it's more lively. It's an upbeat sound. It was very different for her to do this type of song. And so it's just one of those songs that I go back to all the time. It's just so great. Like, it's my favorite 1989 track. Like, you cannot be in a bad mood when you listen to the song. I swear, you cannot be. So moving on, we are going a little into a slow route into Back to December. Now, this song, the songwriting is so beautiful. She's regretting a relationship she ended. She's trying to apologize for being not the greatest girlfriend. And the crazy thing about it, it's about basically Taylor Lautner, in which there was a lot of speculation, but eventually it kind of came out that it was about him. And so it's crazy to kind of have a song written about you and you knowing that it's about you, whether it's a good or bad song or not good or bad. I would say a good song or maybe like a diss song. But this song is not a diss song, right? She's kind of like apologizing to him for what she kind of put him through. And so it's just beautifully written. When she redid the Speak Now re-release, he was put on a music video for her song, I Can See You. And I think that was pretty cool for her to do that, just because it shows kind of like a full circle. Like, you know what? We've dated, but we're mature enough to be like, it happened when we were so early on, as like early 20s, I believe. And so we can move past that and just be adults and be civil and maybe not have a relationship, but be civil with each other. And so I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, Back to December. Go listen to it. It's beautiful. The lyrics are so beautiful. It's, like I said, it's a slower track. You might not, if you're not into that type of sound, you might not enjoy it. But trust me, listen to those lyrics. Listen to the lyrics, the heartbreak that she's singing in these lyrics. So, yes, go check that out. And next is Karma from Midnights. And Karma, honestly, is such a great song. I feel like some people thought it was a little not cliche. They were a little like childish just based on the chorus that she's singing about what karma is. But I feel like she just made it more fun. Like, it was just fun. It wasn't serious. Although people consider this song as a diss track to all her haters and her criticisms and all that. But I just see it as like, Karma's a bitch, but she's just saying it nicer. She's saying it nicer. And so I think this song's so cool. The Ice Spice remix, it was okay. I didn't really feel like it was needed, but I knew why she added her on it. Ice Spice was having a big moment in the music industry during that time. She added her two little her flair into that. So it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to see that. And I would have never expected Taylor Swift and Ice Spice to collab, to be honest, and also do a music video, which is crazy to me. Karma's great. Love the lyricism. Even the vibe's pretty cool. I love that. And the videos visually is so beautiful. And it's just one of her better videos that she has done. So next, you might be surprised, or maybe not. I'm a big 2010s, 2010s junkie. Like TV junkie. Like, I would watch Vampire Diaries, Pretty Little Liars, Good Trouble, like all those shows, right? Those like tween type of shows I would watch. And this song reminds me of all of that. So the song is Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince. So when I listen to this song, I kind of can see where it can be in those shows that I used to watch. It's just surprising of how a song can give you so much memory or so much visualizations of like what could be or what where this song can be placed. And so I think it was cool for me to have that experience because I don't know if people have that type of experience, but I did. But this song, it's taking place like at high school, and she's writing from a perspective of how society is in high school, but yet how society is in the world. She's kind of talking about high school, like relationship, friendships, bullies, all of that. But if you pay attention to it, that's the world. And so it was very smart for her to do that. So she's tying those two worlds together within this song. But the sound too, it does sound a little bit like more like a teen type of sound. It kind of sounds like someone who's 18 or 19 might have written it in a sense. But it was just great. I love the vibe. I love the storytelling. It's very visually appealing, and you're like, oh, I can see that. Or you're seeing like the bullies high-fiving, and you're seeing people taunting you. And so you're seeing all these things that she's singing in your mind. So it was pretty cool. Like other honorable mention songs that I would say are on the top list, although they didn't really make it on the top list. Also, False God from Lover. Such a beautiful song. I love if this was a movie, I think this really shows how sometimes people may see relationships and how they relate them to a movie or like they're hopeless romantics. And so this is just a cool song. I really do enjoy that because I think I'm a little bit of that. I'm like a hopeless romantic. I want my life to kind of not feel like a movie, but maybe have those similar vibes sometimes. So I don't know. I really do enjoy this song. I also like Love Story from Fearless, of course. Such a beautiful song. I think that's the first song that I liked from Taylor Swift. That I'm like, oh, this song's pretty cool. It does still sound a little bit like not preteen, like a teen type of pop country song. Of course, I think she was like 16, 17 when she wrote it. And so, yeah, Love Story's great. I love Midnight Rain from Midnight. I love the auto tune. I love how melodic it is. I love how like it's very deep, and then like there's just the auto-tune part that like killed me with this song, and the lyrics are still cool, so beautiful. Like I feel Midnight is like one of those better albums for her, honestly. And so yeah, those are honorable mentions. Oh, one more. Bad Blood is seriously one of those songs that was so cool. I didn't put it on like the other list to explain it a little bit more, just because I feel like if she would have mixed the original, her solo version and the remix well, and not to say she didn't mix it well, but I wish she had a verse in the remix. I wish she had at least one verse, and then I wish Kendrick would have kept his verses. It would have been dope if she even extended the whole track. But I felt like in the remix we were missing something from Taylor. Like she was just singing the choruses in the bridge, honestly. But I felt like I was missing that. I want that verse from her because her verses are powerful. And so I really do like her verses on Bad Blood, although we didn't get them in the remix. So yeah, that's why I didn't really want to talk about it a little bit more. But yeah, Bad Blood, that's another honorable mention. So next are my favorite albums from her. I swear these albums still I can listen from start to finish. It's just one of those things that I'm like, wow, she killed it. But first album is Folklore. Surprisingly, I say that it's one of my favorites only because I don't really gravitate to this type of sound. I'm not the biggest fan. So I feel like this album was an escape, right? Because she's telling stories within this album that you kind of have to pay attention to in reference to like other songs in order to understand this song, you know? So it's just so cool. I really did enjoy her for doing this. One of her better albums. I can listen to it from start to finish at any time. You know, I don't have to be in this mood to listen to Folklore. I just listen to it. So, yeah, it's just a great, great album. And so some of my favorite songs or standouts are Exile featuring Bon Iver. Such a beautiful song. His voice, something about his voice with this song just excelled so great. He sounds just amazing. And you would not think when you see him in person or of him, you wouldn't think he has this voice. Because when I see him, I feel like he's this big guy, who's singing his heart out, but he's not. He's just this regular guy with this great voice, and he's utilizing it to make great music. Now, I don't really follow him, to be honest. I don't really follow his music. I think I like one or two songs, but that's about it. This song's great. It talks about unspoken dialogue between two strangers after friendship, after a relationship breakup, I mean. And so it's just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Like the piano, the strings, the build-ups, like there is just something that's so out of this world, and one of her best collaborations to date, honestly. She just did a great job, like getting him to be featured on this song. And then the next song is Invisible String. Invisible String is so beautiful. Lyrics describe a fate between two people that were meant to be with each other, even though they might not have been together at first, but then eventually they come together. And so it's just a cool visual, cool story of her telling a love story between two people. So that's something that was beautifully written. And then the last song is The Last Great American Dynasty. The sound of it just makes me think of that time, like of the 1800s, of like, women wearing like dresses and like carriage horse rides. Like, I don't know, it just gives me that type of vibe from that. It doesn't really give me like modern times. So she's just telling the story of the scandalous life of a woman who's like, I don't want to say scandalous. She's just being who she is, and people are deeming her for who she is, and she shouldn't be doing that, and she shouldn't be doing this, and she should be like a proper woman. And so like, I think Taylor Swift did a great job doing this storytelling of how, like, you just need to continue and do your own thing, and telling us that storyline of just be the woman that you want to be. And I love the vibe, right? Like, it was more of that era of like, kind of like Bridgerton. Gives me that type of like imagery when I listen to the song. So yeah, Folklore that's such a great album. Such a great album. Beautifully written lyrics. Everything about it is just amazing. Next is Reputation. Reputation is seriously one of her best albums to date, because when you look at her history, going from 1989 to Reputation, you knew something was up. You knew something was going down in her life for her to just build this kind of not dark pop, but like this upbeat pop album, like this big production pop album. If you know her story, why she created this album. It's a big FU to like the haters, basically. And the first song from Reputation that I actually do enjoy so much is Don't Blame Me. Now, Don't Blame Me is this high energy track. It has these lyrics of like kind of being unapologetic, of living life, of being who you are, and also just having that type of mindset of just wanting to create a great life for yourself. And it's just very exciting to see that from her, to see her be so expressive, to be like, you know what, like the chorus says, don't blame me, love made me do basic like crazy stuff. If you're not doing love crazy, you're not doing it right. She gives us that vibe, and it's just so fun, so playful. One of those amazing things that I love from her is that she's being unapologetic of who she is, and I am just so glad that she went that route, just because she was getting put down and beat down for so much, just because of all her past relationships. This song's just one of my favorites. I love how haunting it feels, how like kind of dark it feels, and it's just one of those better tracks for her to just be expressive of who she is, and just give the listeners just something great and more in-depth perspective into like herself and who she is. So yeah, Don't Blame Me is so crazy, so cool. I love it. Also, I think Ready for It, the opener of this album, is so high energy. It's one of the better opener songs from her. Like, it really sets the tone, sets the mood of this whole album, and it really does capture like you are not ready for what I'm about to do. And she really does give us that in depth, that insight with this upbeat track. It's just so cool. I still play this song. It gets me hyped up. Like, it's one of those tracks you play in the gym, you play when you want to get ready, you play whenever you maybe not feel down, but maybe you're not having a good morning. Man, play that song and trust me, you will feel amazing after listening to it, just because it's just one of those songs. It gets you in a great mood. It's about, you know what, I am who I am, and you need to get ready for what I'm about to bring and what I'm about to become and what I'm about to do. So yeah, it's just cool, a great opening track, and I truly love this song. Also, my favorite song actually from this project is I Did Something Bad. It gives me kind of like I can do something bad and feeling good at the same time. And not so much you're doing something bad. It's like you're doing what you want to do and you're just living life. And if you're doing something bad in someone else's eyes, when you know it's not bad, you're just doing it because, you know, you're maybe in love, or maybe it's an experience you want to do and you're being told it's bad. Yeah, I don't think that's cool at all. I love like that post chorus like beat where she's doing it with her voice. Like, it's just a great track. It's my favorite track off this album and one of my favorite tracks from her overall. I think this one is just so different, so unique out of all the tracks she's ever done. And basically, I feel like I'm a badass when I listen to this song. And so, yeah, so this song's great. Out of all the ones that I've talked so far, I think I Did Something Bad. It's truly like up there, that I can go back and listen to it over and over. It's a lot of my kind of like darker playlist, dark pop playlist. And so I listen to this song a lot still. I really do hope with this album, we get the unreleased songs from her Taylor's versions, because since she's not, I don't know if she's re-releasing this, because she recently bought her discography back, which I'm so glad she did. She owns the rights. I honestly like her original albums better than the re-releases. That's just my hot take on this. And I know some people are like, no, they sound better now. I'm like, yes, but you're losing the essence and the innocence of like her voice and her growth when she's re-releasing all these new albums, right? You're losing that, the evolution of her voice and her style and the way she's singing. So I love the originals. I'm glad that she owns them now. So now we can go back and listen to them. I never stopped, but hopefully she does re-release and just gives us those, what she was trying to do during those times when she didn't own her discography, and give us maybe a different perspective of Reputation. But I feel like Reputation is such an iconic album based on the theme, based on what was going on with her, on the criticism, that if she does a re-release, I don't think it'll have the same impact. But I hope she does give us those unreleased tracks, because if she adds more to this album, I really do hope that she does give us the unreleased tracks for sure. But yeah, Reputation. Go listen to that for sure. But my favorite album of them all from Taylor Swift till this day, this album is what made me a true Swiftie, a true fan, that I finally like. I understand what the hype is about. I understand why people are so embedded, so in depth, so connected to her, or just love the way she writes and what she was doing with this album. You know, I think Red was such a strong album for her. It's just one of those albums that the transition between like country pop, and she did it such in a perfect way that it kind of felt seamless. A lot of people were like already like, oh, she wants to do pop or this and that. But she did it such a seamless way that you kind of just didn't notice. And that was such a smart move for her to make, to go from country to pop. I still feel she would make country music, she'll still be as successful, because what caught people's attention was her writing and her lyrics. She was already a big star in the country world before she was a big star in the pop scene. So yeah, so Red. My favorite album of them all. I would say I Almost Do is one of her better tracks, where you're just in this mode of like wanting to text an ex, or maybe wanting to just maybe talk to them one more time, and you're just in that phase in that stage in your mind where you're just like, I want to do this so bad, but I can't. I know it's not a good thing for me to do. And it's like so intimate, so vulnerable for her to write this, because I feel like I don't think a lot of people will even recognize that or even express that in everyday life that they want to do. And so it's crazy that she did this. I still think it's like her most vulnerable tracks out there. And so yeah, I almost do. That song still gets me. When I listen to the song, right, to the album, I'm like, wow, I can't believe she wrote this. Like, I don't think I've ever been in that situation that she's been, but I can understand it. Of course, I Knew You Were Trouble. It's one of the better tracks, one of those fun tracks, one of those like tracks where she really did transition from country to pop, right? She mixed the two well, even added like a little bit of like not EDM, but like those electronic elements into a country pop song. And so this song's fun. It's self-explanatory. I knew you were trouble when I first was with you, and I know this relationship was gonna last. It's just one of those tracks that I'm like, wow, like she killed it with this track. And it's the inspiration behind Treble, right? And it's just, I knew I had to put it on here just because of that specific thing. And then it's still one of my favorite tracks, singles from her, that I feel like did made an impact into her career and moving her forward into the pop scene. And let's go with Red. I think Red, it's still one of those perfect tracks where she is telling us who she is and like what mode she is when she was in transition from the country to the pop scene. Now, this blends a really playful like country Taylor Swift with the pop edge to it, and it was a track that really showed us the transition she was going through from country to pop. And I love the whole like electronic repetition of the word red. It's so cool. It was a different element for her to add within the song. So it was something smart for her to do, just to give us a little intro of like, hey, this is where I'm headed. And it's cool. I just love the analogies, the similes, the intimacy of showing like loving him as red and putting a color to a relationship and what that dynamic is, and also the visualizations within the lyrics. It's such a cool track, and I think it's one of those tracks that really represents the theme and the visuals of Taylor Swift shifts into moving forward into bolder aesthetics, bolder themes within her music. So I think Red really displayed that, like, she's being more mature, she's growing up, she's going through more hardships in life, she's gone through so many experiences, and now she's writing it in this album. So I feel like Red is such a big record for her. And even the re-release was I feel like Red, the re-release, was also not maybe as big, but it was a bigger re-release for her, a bigger era. And people really do enjoy this Taylor Swift. I'll give you one more that hits a spot sometimes. And this song, Begin Again is such a beautiful song to remind you, like, you know what, someone out there is for you, someone out there is waiting to meet you, someone out there is your person, even if you are not in that headspace of like wanting to be with someone. It really does show you like that kind of experience of what happens when you find new love, or when someone finds you interesting and someone wants to actually get to know who you are. So I think it was very beautifully written. It's one of her like calmer songs. I don't think it was a single. I think it was a promo single, if I'm not mistaken. But it's like just visually, the vulnerability that she sings through these lyrics is such a great song. And I just had to throw it in there because honestly, it's also one of my favorites from that record. Like, it at the top of my head, I can say this song's also one of my favorites. But yeah, guys, Taylor Swift is an amazing artist. I hope we get at least a lead single on August 1st. That's the rumor. If not, I hope she releases something this year. I feel like we need her in a sense, because I don't know. I feel like there's a lot happening in the music industry, and we need those pop girls again. You know, Gaga has done an impact on that already. The Blackpink girlies have done that. You know, they came back. We're getting also Demi Lovato in the future, and so we're getting Zara in the future, Ava Max, even like more in the pop scene, but I feel like we need a major artist to release a big record that's not successful, but that's making it impact. I know Miley has released her album as well, but I feel like we didn't hear a lot of noise. I don't know why. I just feel like people aren't talking about it as much. But we need Taylor Swift to come and kind of like make this shift and give us new music, honestly. So yeah, that was today's episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. If you're new here, thanks so much for clicking on this, watching this. Please like, subscribe, all the great stuff. Also, if you're a returning viewer, I appreciate you so much for coming along on this journey and just hearing me rant, hearing me what I love to talk about. And I truly, truly do appreciate it. Please like I said, subscribe, all the great stuff, share with a friend, all the good things I have to say within the video or a podcast. I truly appreciate everyone's support and love. And remember, say it louder because it's only Treble.